Next, I'd like to introduce Nick Costello.
G'day people. Apologies to the asylum seeker people. We won't take up much more of your time if we've intruded. I'm curious to know, just to hear, how many people here are single parents? Could you just put your hands up for a second, please? Not very many. How many people are here to support the asylum seekers? Lots? No one's listening. How many people are here to support justice? And that's something we all have in common, and I think that's very, very important. So I'm here to support single parents. I'm not a single parent myself, but I'm here to support them because I think what's happening to them is unfair. But I think there is an interesting thing going on here, and I'm very curious to know about why it's happening. We have a lot of people here today coming out to support asylum seekers, and that's a really, really good thing. Asylum seekers' only crime is a desire to escape violence, oppression and tyranny. They see Australia as a shining light for what they think is democracy and prosperity, and they want to be a part of it. But there's something about your concerns here that I don't fully understand. Why have you reserved your outrage for what is happening to people from beyond our borders when similar crimes are being committed against people who already live here? The crimes I speak of are crimes of omission, crimes of exclusion, crimes of selective morality. When we speak of the Australian ethos, of ideas of democracy, mateship, egalitarianism and fair go for all, we tend to think of this country as immune from poverty, corruption and oppression, but it is not. And when we think of poverty and social exclusion in Australia, we tend to think that it is not a serious problem, because it is not the abject poverty we see in other parts of the world. And marginalised people in Australia need not live in fear of brutal violence as do many in war-torn nations. Yet many of our own citizens have something in common with those who come here in leaky boats. Because like those who have been banished to Manus Island, Papua New Guinea and Nauru, they have been told that they are not important, that they are not wanted, and that the poverty trap they find themselves in is of their own making. Of course, I'm talking about the countless thousands of our own citizens who have fallen on hard times, the unemployed, the homeless, the disabled, the working poor, the mentally ill, and now single parents whose parenting payment has been slashed and replaced with New Start allowance, which for many falls short of even being a subsistence income. Now, you may not agree that jobless people and single parents face the same level of direct threat as asylum seekers do, but in their relationship with the Australian government, they do. The experience they share is surgical separation from the Australian mainstream. Just as our government declared an immigration exclusion zone in waters where our territorial claim to fishing and mining exploration rights were retained, our political leaders have quarantined the problem of homelessness to protect an artificially inflated housing industry. And just as Papua New Guinea and Nauru have been called upon to carry the can for a situation our political leaders would rather hide from, the term welfare dependency has been coined to justify the banishment of many thousands of people, including single parents and their children, to a life of social exile and poverty. And so, while I applaud your desire to defend the rights of asylum seekers, I'm curious to know why the social exclusion of Australians in their own country is not met with the same level of concern. If you oppose the tyranny of politicians who seek to pass their responsibility for asylum seekers to somebody else, why do you not oppose also the calculated processes that condemn growing numbers of your fellow citizens to life in social exile? Surely the underlying moral question in either case is the same. Today, many of you are here to defend asylum seekers, while this little band of people over here and around here is taking the same stand that you are. We're both taking the same stand. At the end of the day, we're all here for the same reason, to defend the moral fibre of the land we call home, and to make it known that we're here not just to look after ourselves, but to look after each other. I live for the day when we can put aside the tribal wars and the petty squabbles that seem to be dominating politics, the things that divide us. And I'm looking forward to the day when we can all say with one voice that this is the land of the fair go, this is our land, and that justice will be served. Thank you very much and have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Nick.